I'm back. I had to end the other session, separate the things that I'm doing under my prayer condition from my feelings. So, this session is just really about what happened in the last 24 to 48 hours in Lagos, Nigeria, which is my home country. I think just about everybody knows that. And I just wanted to just talk through how I feel. And for those of you who are not aware, in Lagos, Nigeria, in Nigeria as a whole, they have been protesting against SARS, and SARS is an armed robbery squad unit. So they're similar to like a SWAT unit. And I think the protesters even included the SWAT units now. And the purpose of these units, from my understanding, is these units are set up they're an anti-robbery squad. So if there's a robbery going on, they're tactically trained to be able to go and diffuse the situation. Maybe diffuse is not the right word, but go in and stop whatever is about to happen. And there have been incidences of individuals within these squads, whether they're actually members of the squads or if they're people that are perpetrating, I don't know. And these individuals have been attacking young men and women, causing them to basically robbing them. I have a friend that they took to an ATM to take money out. And that doesn't even make sense because the unit is put in place, even by the name, to prevent the very activity that they are involved in. It is not right. Now, I am going to talk about this and try to stay under the lens of being a Christian that I am, but I will give a disclaimer that this is going to be a part of me sharing my feelings. And I'm going to try to compartmentalize it. And so that way I can focus and it doesn't become just an emotional session of me just talking. Now, it's very hurtful, the situation of Nigeria as a whole. And there's a lot of poverty. People are poor. People in Nigeria are poor. I lived in Nigeria for a 1-year period, and I cried a lot. I cried quite a bit because I remember when I was a kid and lived in Nigeria, it was such a different country. At least I remember a friend of mine who unfortunately recently passed away. I really miss him dearly. He would tell me, your problem is when you lived in Nigeria, you were a kid and you saw things from the lens of a child, which is so different from seeing things from the lens of an adult. Because even though you may have been exposed to certain things, you don't really understand what that is and what the implications are. So there's a lot that I didn't know. But when I went back to Nigeria, I was very saddened by what I saw. It's the lack of a future. I saw a vacuum. People don't have a future. They just don't have, there are no opportunities available to them. And unfortunately, when people don't have opportunities available to them, it can lead to things that they would not normally do and things that they're not proud of. And I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone. I am just stating facts. Again, you have to understand what it feels like to be someone else. And there are people out there in Nigeria that are really hurting and they're really suffering and they're really struggling. So you can imagine how much it breaks my heart to hear that people that are trying to put one or two things together for their life, young people, when you're young, you have dreams. And for you to be attacked by the very people that are supposed to protect you. That is very traumatizing. That is very unfortunate. And from what I learned, this anti-robbery squad, this is not something that just happened. This is something that has been going on. They have been complaints. I believe at some point they disbanded them and then they came back. So that is kind of the history behind the SARS squad team or SWAT team. Yesterday, and for the past couple of weeks, people have been protesting. To my knowledge, and I might be ignorant, there are a lot of things I don't know. I just know what is in front of me. I was not there. That these protests have been peaceful and people are there. Some of the protests has turned into more like a rally. So this has been going on for a couple of weeks, and social media has been trending this hashtag of it's not defund, but end SARS. Yesterday evening, something very terrible and tragic happened. There's a fine line between humanity and everything else. There's a fine line between consciousness and having no conscience. And for me, I think let me just give you visual of what I was doing last night. And then I will come back to continuing this story. Last night, I was getting ready to go to bed, and I flipped through the news outlets as I normally do. I don't know why I do that to myself. And I saw that people were killed at Lekki Toll Gate. Lekki Toll Gate is a toll gate I used to use quite a bit when I lived in Nigeria. I actually lived in that area. And I said, what? And so I decided to read. I was like, what is this? I mean, what happened? What a tragic event occurred? And what I read was that the army, or folks dressed in camouflage looking like they're from the military, not sure which branch, so excuse me if I misspoke calling it the army, came and opened fire into the crowd of protesters. And as soon as I read that, because there was a video, I clicked on the video, and all I could hear was assault rifle going off. I clicked on the next. So after that video, I actually Googled, because I was like, this is not true. I Googled, clicked on Channels TV, which is a TV station in Nigeria. And sure enough, they had a segment, there was a clip, and clicked on video after video just to confirm. And I said to myself, something about our humanity was lost yesterday as Nigerians. Something about, now I grew up, in the 80s, we had coups. And some folks said, if you're old enough, you know that you had these coups and you would hear that the government is overthrown by the military. Yes, all types of tragic things would happen. They had curfews. If you're out at night, you could be killed. But the part that, because I'm not surprised about what happened, as shocking and as crazy as that sounds, I'm not. Again, because living through those years and not necessarily myself going through those experiences, but hearing it over and over again, that element is there. But this is something different. And the reason I say this is something different, I didn't mention something about that video that is causing me to vomit how I feel. There was a sound during that video recording of singing of the national anthem of Nigeria. So imagine this, wherever you are, whether in the US, in UK or whatever, you have people protesting, they're singing the national anthem. And people from the military, whatever branch of, whether they're from the military, even civilians that are Nigerians, come and open fire. That is beyond tragic. There were multiple lives lost based on the information that has been shared, even though the news outlet said that there were no lives lost in one of the news outlets. I'm not going to mention names. One life, one injury. You're singing the national anthem. You are part of the military force to protect this country. The national anthem is kind of your bedrock. This is what your call to duty is. And you're hearing that, and you open fire on the people that are singing it. I cannot really articulate anything right now. I don't even know what it means to be a Nigerian at this point, or Nigerian. That is my birth country. That's a country that I love with all my heart, with all its idiosyncrasies. I love that land. It's one of the most beautiful places. The opportunities are there. The opportunities from the standpoint of you can see the potential of the country. So opportunities that's not, and potential that's not realized is what I'm talking about. And to hear, I don't think I will be able to get rid of that sound for a long time. It's very, very hurtful. And I don't think I'll be able to see or hear the Nigerian anthem the same for a while. Because as the singing of that song comes on, it's going to take me back to that young man, whoever you are. I'm just letting you know that you impacted me enough for me to just talk randomly. Where in the darkness of the night, oh, and I didn't mention the fact that where these protesters were, they had security cameras. They had street lights. The security cameras were shut off. The street lights were cut off. They were in complete darkness. And you hear this voice singing the national anthem. And you hear the gunshots going off. And he is still singing, but you can perceive the fear in his voice and the cracking of the sound of his voice because you can feel him. There's something wrong. I was trying to stay focused and not get into my feelings and stuff. But just thinking about that young man and the courage, that is true courage under fire. where those gunshots are going off, and he's continued to trail off and sing. So as I was thinking to myself today, and I'm reading Exodus this month, and I'm asking myself, should I talk about this? And initially, I didn't want to, but the book of Exodus is about a people that were oppressed. They didn't really have opportunity. And the youths in Nigeria are oppressed. What is their future? And they came out to basically voice how they feel. Now, we may not agree with the approach, and I'm sure, as with any type of protest or whatever, I'm sure there were people that were impacted negatively. But is it to the point that you just shoot them like they're animals? Has our humanity, is it that far gone? And civility does not exist anymore. So I said to myself, nope, you have to say something. Because again, the story that I'm reading is talking about people being oppressed and believing because of hope, because they had a hope in God. And they believed, and God pulled them through. Yet they're young people in my country, and they have no hope. And they're just trying to express that. And we killed some of them. And I say we because the injustice, we can sit here. I don't live in Nigeria, but I am a Nigerian. And all the Nigerians that are in government, people talk about these people in the government, but where do the people from the government come from? They come from the population. The government is a representation of the population. So there's a level of responsibility that we all have to take for creating the characters that felt comfortable, even if the direction was given for them to do that, that they actually didn't go and find a way to disperse these people without killing them. And even when they went there, I mean, I can't think of a more important thing that unifies a country other than their national anthem. The national anthem is supposed to unify people. And when there's disunity or when there's a problem, all that falls apart. So in a situation where the people that are supposed to respect the anthem, the people that are supposed to, that is their call to duty, are listening to those words and are killing the people they're called to protect. I don't know what it is to be Nigerian anymore. Maybe I'll rediscover it, but at this moment, I don't know. And it's very unfortunate. And I pray God that the people that lost their loved ones, that God will comfort them, that they will still believe in hope. And may the souls of those whose lives were snuffed out rest in peace. And for those of us out here, let's do something. Let's figure out what we can do about this. I don't know what to say. It was just that listening to those videos, I spent, I think, 2 hours just reading and listening, and I it's so sad. It's so, so sad. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Hopefully, maybe in the future, I'll have something that's a follow-up that's more positive, but yeah. I will say God bless Nigeria and God help Nigeria. God help us to, God awake our consciousness and our love for one another. And God give wisdom to the people that lead us, to lead us in the right path, not to the path of destruction. That's it. I can't talk anymore. I don't want to get emotional. I'm a bit off. So, goodbye.